Hi and welcome back to Garfin's creation. Let's make this bento cake with a secret message inside. Do check the description box below for the detailed recipe. So let's start by making the vanilla sponge first. Here I have taken half a cup of room temperature milk. To it I'll be adding half a cup of condensed milk. The brand I have used here is quite thick. You can take any brand that you have. Next I'll be adding 3 tablespoons of melted butter. You can also use oil in place of butter. Next I'll be adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. Using a hand whisk, I will combine all the ingredients together. Whisk it well, and this will take about a minute. Once this is done, we will now add the dry ingredients into it. I'll be adding 1 cup of Maida or all-purpose flour, a pinch of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. This is the brand that I am using today, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now we'll just sieve all these ingredients into the wet ingredients. Once this is done, I'll continue whisking this till all the ingredients are well combined again. I'll keep whisking this till there are no lumps and the batter is nice and smooth like a ribbon consistency. Instead of a vanilla sponge, you can also use a chocolate sponge here. I have a recipe of the chocolate sponge and I'll put the link in the description box below. Now I'll use a spatula and just scrape the bowl properly right from below as well. And this is the ribbon consistency you need to get. Now let's prepare the baking pan. Today I'm using an 8x6 rectangular cake tin and just lining it with a butter paper. I'll also grease the sides and the below with some butter. I have used the butter paper wrapper that you get along with the butter. That is a good substitute for a baking or a parchment paper. You can customize this vanilla sponge by adding some color into the batter and also some fruit essence in place of vanilla. Once you have poured the batter into the tin, just spread it evenly. You will need to preheat your oven at least 10 minutes ahead. Tap the cake tin a few times to release the air bubbles. I will then bake it in a preheated oven at 180 degrees centigrade in the middle rack for around 20 to 25 minutes. It took me around 25 minutes to bake this cake. Now I will let it sit here for around 10 minutes and then we will unmold it. Just run a spatula on all the sides of the cake and then just flip it over a plate. And now I will let this cool completely before we could start cutting and decorating it. We'll keep the sponge aside for some time. And before we could start decorating, we need to keep the other things ready as well. This is a Korean lunch box and it's also called as the bento box. This box measures 6 by 6 inches and the inner lower cavity is 3.5 inches. These boxes are easily available online and even in bakery accessory shops. We'll also need to keep a parchment paper that is the size of the box so we can place the cake on it. And to cut the cake, I'll be using this cutter which is also 3.5 inches and fits well into the box. I have printed the secret message of 2 sizes on a glossy paper, so you can use whichever fits best on the cake. You will also need a small plastic strip that will be placed over the message. So we'll need to keep all this ready before we start decorating the cake. I will be now cutting out 2 circles from the sponge with the help of this cutter. Each bento cake will be having 2 layers of this cake. If you are in a hurry of gifting this cake to someone and you do not have a vanilla sponge, you can use any ready-made vanilla or chocolate sponge available in the market. And then just decorate it as shown in this video. So after cutting the 2 circles from the sponges, I'll be just leveling it so I get rid of the dome. Before we could start icing it, place both the sponge into the bento box and see that it fits well. So now this is done, let's start whipping up the whipping cream. This is the brand that I usually use. It was kept in the freezer and the previous night I removed it out from the freezer and kept it down in the lower part of the fridge. And now I'll be using just half a cup of this whipping cream. Make sure your whipping cream is chilled but still in a liquid form. Now using an electric beater, I will start whipping this up from low to high speed. And this should not take me more than 3 minutes to whip up into a semi-stiff peak. Also don't forget to scrape the bowl once and continue whipping after it. This whipping cream already has sugar in it, but you can add any flavor and customize it according to your need. So as I continue whipping, and it has taken me around 2.5 minutes to get to a nice semi-stiff peak. Semi-stiff peak is what? It's not too stiff or not too soft. If it is too soft, it will melt easily, and if it is too stiff, you will not get a smooth finish for your cake. So whip up the cream in something in between, not too soft, not too stiff. So now let's start icing the cake. To frost the cake, we will use the parchment paper, and I'll just spread some whipping cream on it and place one piece of the sponge on it. And then I will dab the sponge with some sugar syrup to make the cake moist. You will find the recipe for the simple syrup, that is the sugar syrup, in the description box below. Just spread some whipping cream and level it. Next I'll be adding the strawberry crush as a filling in between the 2 layers. You can use any flavor of your choice. Just spread it a little so that it covers the layer well. And then now I'll be also placing the second sponge that we had cut. To give a smooth finishing, I put the lower part of the sponge facing upwards. Dab some sugar syrup again, and then spread some whipping cream all over the cake. So this is going to be a crumb coat. I'll be just applying a very thin layer of the whipping cream all around the cake. The small portion of this bento cake is ideal for gifting for any occasions. You can customize your secret message depending on the occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, and even Valentine's Day too. So this is a nice way of revealing your secret message inside a cake. And it will be a nice surprise for the other person as well. I have finished crumb coating this cake, and now I will be doing the finishing coat. I'll be just spreading some whipping cream on the sides and the top of the cake as well. It's okay if your cake is not frosted evenly. We'll be decorating further with some icing and some sprinkles, so all the flowers will be hidden inside it. So I have spread the whipping cream all over, and then just using a plastic scraper, I'll be just smoothing the sides. If you do not have a plastic scraper, you can even do this with a spatula. This looks complete, and I will just lift the cake along with the parchment paper and place it carefully into the bento box. So you see, the parchment paper helps in lifting the cake and placing it into the box, and the box do not get messy as well. I'll just put the lid down to check whether the cake is getting damaged. So the cake size is proper, and we'll now decorate it on the top. Before decorating the cake on top, we need to hide the message inside. Cut it to the size of the cake and place it on it. I had kept the plastic strip a little longer, and I will just bend it towards one end so that later I'll be sticking a paper butterfly on the bended part. Place the plastic strip over the message. Next, I'm using this small star nozzle to decorate it. I put the nozzle into the piping bag and then put the piping bag into the glass. This will help in filling the piping bag with ease. Just add a little whipping cream into the piping bag and just squeeze it a little bit so that the extra air from the bag is squeezed out. So now our piping bag is ready. Just let's test some designs before we could start the main design. So this is the designs we can do, just trying some on a spatula. So I will now start decorating the cake. I'll just do a simple shell design all around the border. I hope you are enjoying watching this video. If you do like it, do subscribe to Garfin's Creation so that you get all the notifications of my upcoming videos. Once I have done the border, I will also completely cover the top part of the cake so that the message is hidden under it. And to make it even more beautiful, I'll be just using some sprinkles over it. These are some heart-shaped sprinkles. Use whichever sprinkles you like or you have with you. I have already uploaded many videos on cake decorations, like ganache cakes and whipping cream cakes as well. I have segmented that in a complete playlist. So I'll put the link of that playlist in the description box below if you are interested in watching that as well. So I have now finished decorating the cake completely. And before adding the butterfly, I'll just check whether it's getting closed or whether the icing is getting damaged. So now this is all perfect. I'll be just sticking that paper butterfly to the plastic that we had just bended. Let the butterfly dry completely, and that will help in pulling up the plastic sheet and revealing the message. So our beautiful bento cake with the secret message inside it is completely ready. And so now it's time to reveal the message. I hope you like this cake and thanks for watching till this end. Do subscribe to Garfin's Creation and I'll see you soon in the next video. Till then, take good care. Bye bye.